Well, it's 9 o'clock.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Convene as the Walworth County Planning and Zoning Board. Is there any old business? Any new business?
Not hearing any, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Okay, got a motion on the floor. I need a second.
I'll second.
A second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion passed. Okay, we'll convene as the Walworth County Board of Zoning Adjustment. Is there any old business? New business?
Hearing none, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Okay, got a motion on the floor. I need a second.
I'll second.
Got a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion passed. We will convene as the Board of County Commissioners. I take a motion to approve the County Commission Planning and Zoning Adjustment Minutes for August 7th.
So moved.
Okay, got a motion on the floor. I need a second.
Second.
A second. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion passed. Everybody had a chance to go over the claims?
We did make one adjustment this morning. There was a bill from Ultramax. Was billed out under the jail. Was switched over to the sheriff's office for ammunition. So that's already been switched over. So.
I guess I was wondering why are we paying Sharp right now, I guess?
To do partial payments.
Do partial?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's generally how that works, I guess.
Okay.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
you may want to pull that bill out and discuss it if there's some other discussion with regard to any issues with regard to that project, and deal with it later on in old business.
Okay. Yeah, we probably should talk a little bit about it, since we did talk about it, but.
Is that for Sharp is what you're talking
Yes.
about? Yeah, Mike will be here.
He'll be here after a while?
He'll be here for bid letting and then I'm on after bid.
Okay, we'll just discuss it then.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Make a motion to approve claims.
Okay, got a motion on the floor. I need a second.
I'll second.
And that would be just for all of them except for the one that was taken out, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion passed. Is there anybody out there that, I think I know everybody, but does anybody have anything out in the audience there?
Scott, this is John Douglas, but he's on the agenda.
Okay. Okay, skip 14, okay. John, you're up.
I am here to discuss the not assessment of my house, but the classification of my house. It's down as non-owner occupied, and it has been owner occupied since I purchased it. Paperwork was filed when I purchased the house, but as I spoke with the auditor in the courthouse here, that it's not the right paperwork for them to actually classify it as such. looking through my assessment list of real estate property. I guess I don't know how familiar you guys are with this form, but on here, it really doesn't make it clear as to the classification of the house. There would be an NA in there with no description above, below, or anything else describing what that means, which is what means that it's non-owner occupied. So when I received this, I guess I wasn't clear what the classification of my house was, so I'm paying more in property taxes that's not owner occupied when it is owner occupied. And then, I don't know if you want to look at any of these forms or anything, but the forms that were filed when the house was purchased, you know, on here, it does make it clear the owner occupancy status.
Is that the certificate of real estate value that was filed with it?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's our error, I would assume. How long ago did you buy the house?
October of 2016.
Okay.
So I'd be looking for an abatement of the taxes currently paid for 17, 18, and then 18, 19.
The owner occupied status, my year runs from November to November. And so we always send out forms after a house sold. This one sold, this is a little bit different situation. Sold the middle of October, he moved it immediately. A lot of times when a house sells, they aren't in there by the 1st of November. John was, but we never got an owner occupied form back that I have on record. And we didn't get one for 17 or 18, pay 19. John's filled out one now at the end of July.
Do you consider this to be an error in your office?
No.
Is the only statutory authority you have to correct owner-occupied status disputes outside of equalizations, it's an error in the assessor's office. So,
According to this, it shows on here that it was filled out as
that was owner occupied.
property will be principal residence and buyer.
Above stated date.
Right. And that's on every COB, but many times that one happens, John happened to sign that one. We always send out the regular owner-occupied form, because a lot of times those are blank, or they're filled out by an agent or an attorney, and always marked owner-occupied, even on fair land. So we always send out the regular owner-occupied form to be returned.
Yeah, what do you do if, like in this case, there was a move-in right before the 1st of November? What do you use to make that determination before you have any information? Then is it the certificate of real estate value, or?
This is a house that John bought new, so it was not owner-occupied. It was classified as not owner-occupied.
Correct.
So it stayed there, it would stay at non-owner occupied until I got a form from John saying it was owner.
Even though you have this.
Yes. Because like I said, many times those are blank or they're bare ag land, they're all filled out owner occupied. Nobody has owner occupied bare ag land. So we send out the regular form for owner occupied status. And John's absolutely right. They're on the assessment notice that he gets, if it's owner occupied, it's stated under here. But if it's not, there's nothing. So how would he know when he gets his tax bill? If it's owner occupied under the school, right here where it says non-ag, it would say OO. But we just know that because we wouldn't, you know what I mean?
But if you look at-
Normal taxpayer wouldn't, that's what
Okay, if I pass this one around and look at that where the DNA is, that's the description
that's
for
non-ag. is
for
what
non-owner
that means.
occupied.
But there would be owner occupied written under here if it was. But then he has no way of knowing that, you know what I mean?
So we'll be corrected for 18, pay 19 now then?
No, because he didn't file the form, that needed to be filed in by I keep
So
them.
it'd be
I
for
save
19,
them
pay
till
20 then?
Right. Because he didn't file it till, July 31st.
Till when you
or
caught the
something like
error.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, I
When he
had
called,
called
yeah.
to
So does this-
change the address at one point, because I still had a P.O. box in Harriet when I first bought the house.
Sure.
Because it was a new house and get mail set up, so I wanted to make sure I'd still get mail for
So,
a couple weeks.
do we have to deal with this during equalization?
Normally, unless it's an error on the assessor's part.
So whether you can call the fact that, I mean, that's probably a possibility that you could call the fact that he has it on the COV,
As owner occupied?
even though, I mean, I don't normally do that, but that would be your call. If you want to call that an error on the office.
When did you move the house in?
It was built in place there, and I purchased it October of 2016 down in New Everett.
That's one of Hazen's.
One that, yeah, Hayes and Larry Fleece built.
Got one question, how come on this form here, didn't you, it says property will be occupied by owner? Why didn't you triple yes there?
So if I recall, when I purchased it, I had a question on that, and then I got it answered, and they keep shoving forms to sign, and it never come back to it if I remember right. But
Okay.
And that's how come I don't go strictly by those
Okay.
normally. But it's entirely up to you guys.
I mean, the average taxpayer isn't going to know if that's classified as owner occupied or not based on.
Even
that
on his
form.
tax bill, he's not going to.
So I know it's late to argue it, but with the, hard to know, I guess, what's what unless you're well versed in this, so.
And I told John, I'm the one who told John to come here because I can't make that decision. After equalization, I can't make that decision, so that has to come from you guys.
What's the value we're looking at difference?
I think what we talked about, $1,100 or $1,200
Yeah.
per year. So I mean, it's
It's a big
good
difference.
chunk of change.
250,000 plus.
What can we do as commission to correct the problem?
You could do an abatement and just claim it's because of an error on the part of the assessor. That's the,
You paid the first half.
That would be the, I think that would be the fair thing, but Ryan's right. If we're going to do it now, we'd have to state that it was an error on us, or else we would have to take care of it during equalization. Is that right, Ryan?
and that window would have closed already for.
Yeah.
So I can live with paying the taxes for what I'm currently paying with, but I guess I would like to see the abatement for next year for sure, so I'm not paying that higher value in my taxes for next year. You know, with the close time frame and the way things were, and I did still have a P.O. box mailing address at the time, so, you know, I can see how things maybe weren't quite done in what normally they would be.
So you're asking is just that the correction be made on 18, pay 19, and then we carry that forward, or from the date of purchase?
I mean, I'd like
He's
to have
asking
both,
both,
but,
yeah.
Okay.
but if I can't get both,
That sounds clear,
the
so,
second
yeah.
one would be great, so.
This, for 17 to 18, it would be an abatement. He's paid the first half, so it would come off the second half. Then for 18, pay 19, we can't, you could okay it, but we can't even do it until after the tax bills are made and sent out in January that we could do it. Then he would just get a different tax bill.
And that's just because you don't know what the tax is going to be
Right.
yet.
Yeah, I don't know what the levies will be for 18, pay 19.
Because right now he's on
That's what we
17, pay
assessed.
18.
That's what we.
And he
assessed
purchased it at the end of 2016. So this is probably his first, you made your first payment in April, and then you caught it this summer, and then now you're gonna have a second payment,
So
about
it'd actually
17.
be the second half payments of 17 pay 18.
Right. It would abate part of the second half off, and for 18 to 19, it would abate part of the value off, or part of the levies off on it, because the owner-occupied levy actually only affects the school. that's when, way back in 95, I think, when that passed, that's how Janko passed it, and it comes off the school levy for an abatement.
I'll make a motion to abate the second half of
So it's 17 to 18.
17, pay 18, and carry it forward from there.
So, and we'll also make it owner occupied for 18 payments.
Correct.
You want a clarification on that?
Change
Well-
the status to owner occupied
Okay,
and abate the,
because if you just say abate second half, that means you're just abating the whole second half, but that's not what it's gonna be.
change the status to owner occupied.
For
And
2017,
pay 18.
forward, yeah, 2017 pay 18, and then forward, and then abate the overpayment off his first half of 17 pay 18 taxes on his second half of 17 pay 18 taxes. Is that,
Can we do this without having the abatement listed on the agenda? Do we have to do it next meeting?
yeah,
What's that? That's what, he's on the agenda.
Right, but I mean, I was just asking because it doesn't say, you know, consider a motion to approve abatement. That's the only thing in there.
we should probably have his motion, write that down, put it on the next agenda to approve it, but yeah, I think you're right. Because all he's asking for is a status, but if we're gonna do an abatement, we should probably have the abatement on the calendar.
You wouldn't
To
have
abate.
to come back, John.
No.
Okay.
It would just be a formality. But yeah, Becky's right.
And are you gonna have them sign a form before you leave?
Clear as mud.
We need a
Just
second
table
again.
it until the next
Second.
meeting.
It was. Well, actually, it's not even on the calendar, so we don't need to table anything, so we'll just have Becky, you'll have to withdraw your motion, and then Becky will put on the calendar for next time abatement of the legal, or the property description, the, whatever the parcel number is, and,
Change the occupied status.
you can make a motion to change the occupied status now. And then we will approve the abatement next meeting.
Do it all at once.
Make more sense just to do it all at once.
Okay.
Becky, do you want to notarize
Can I make a
these?
motion to withdraw?
What?
Do you want to notarize these?
Oh.
Or can somebody in your office do
Josh can.
it?
And then Kevin, you just move to
What do
withdraw
we
your
have?
motion.
I'll move to withdraw my motion.
Okay.
And then we'll get them,
Yeah, I'm watching him, I can notarize
we'll
them.
get them notarized and then you'll get some back in the, one after the 1st of January and one after the next meeting. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, John.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll go to number 16. I'm up.
I just have my monthly report, you should all have a copy of it. July. Any questions for me?
Just match up to your office.
For the month, I think it's still on from the difference of last month.
Make a motion to approve.
Okay, you got a motion on the floor, I need a second. Got a second, any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion passed.
Okay, then I was gonna mention too that I'm currently working on 3 tax deeds. Randy Murray did come in and pay his off, so. Working on 3 other ones right now, so, yep,
Did you get the other one from Washington or
yes.
they sent it to you?
Yep, you can, all right,
Thank you.
thank you.
Number 7.
workroom.
Do you wanna do that now, or do you wanna do it down here with, the 10:45? Cause I put that on there basically when you guys wanna start or not. Or if or what we're doing.
I think we're gonna just have Brenda come up and talk about that,
Okay,
because of the feedback.
okay.
I think they are. Somebody's getting Brenda, right?
Yeah.
It's almost time, so.
That's my court. That she has there too, so.
Are you not gonna go through all that with us?
No, absolutely not, I'm not.
Okay.
This is all private. I'd lose my job. I wouldn't be Girl Friday anymore.
You got the floor.
Actually, I put this on, as to,
I know.
as to when do you want to start her change of hours and that stuff. But then also I think Becky's had some phone calls on her hours being changed from 4-H to doing that job. So what do you guys want to do and when?
I know I received some phone calls too, and before we do that, I would like to meet with you and Sherry to discuss some of the issues that have been brought up. So if we could wait, if I could meet with you and Sherry sometime before the next meeting,
I'm here 5 days a week.
if you could get Sherry.
Next week she'll be gone. She'll leave today, right after work.
For the state fair.
For state fair. And,
No,
not
next
state
week.
fair, excuse me. She's going down for, something in Brookings to do with the animals. And I don't think I see her here until Friday, but she might take Friday off to kind of help offset those times. And then next week, she leaves Tuesday for state fair and won't be back until after Labor Day. And then she might have to take some days off in there, so. Cause she'll hit 80 hours like this.
Is she here after the meeting today?
I think so. As far as I know, that's what her plans, unless she plans on leaving early this afternoon. I thought she had, originally her plans were to leave in the afternoon or, after work, but I don't know if that's changed or not, because it has to do with the animals, livestock part.
Why don't you see if we can meet this afternoon, but on this whole deal, I would just soon wait for
A decision?
a decision
That's fine.
of, because there's another thing that I thought of with this too,
Okay,
that.
that is fine. That's why I put it on there, just to get some clarification, so.
You wouldn't mind, let's table that and.
Actually, we don't have to do anything until, because there was no request.
So you
for
really
anything.
didn't need me? All right.
Unless you want to go over your 4-H and state fair real quick.
Absolutely not. That would
Okay.
be Sherry's.
Okay. Well, I'll ask her then when she gets up.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Okay, number 18. Discussions regarding
Ryan and the Colonial Life.
Morning. Go ahead and have a seat. All right.
These for everybody.
What did we eat at this one? Cloverleaf?
I'm not sure.
Best pancake in forever.
Are these, oh, these are all separate?
Yep.
don't know if Scott has one, we can do that. Spreadsheet.
Whoops. Wow. Lot of slippers. Yeah, they're all three separate. I found that out too.
Well, maybe this one. Should have stapled them.
Do you have a copy, Ryan?
I do.
We need two more copies, so we can go in here. Thank you.
All right. Everybody down?
Start talking?
Yeah, go ahead, introduce yourself.
I'll start talking. My name is Dan Snyder. I'm with a company called Colonial Life. This is my sidekick, Derek Converse. Thank you guys for your time. We'll try to make this as quick and painless as possible, but it is insurance, and that's never a whole lot of fun. But what we're proposing doing, the county here, what I understand, you guys buy dental insurance for the county employees. And hopefully you guys realize you're one of the very, very few counties around here that actually do that. So we have done exactly what we're asking to do here in every county within 50 miles of here, I think. You know, so it's nothing that's new to us. But basically what we do with Colonial Life is that we have a dental plan that is $9 per month less expensive than the dental plan that you guys are currently offering out to the employees. The coverages are about 60% better, straight down the line. We have a very, very strong network of providers in the area, so the dentist right here in town takes us. So what we are proposing doing would be to replace the existing dental plan with the dental plan through Colonial Life, offer out the employees here a lot better coverage than they have right now, and save the county about $5,500 per year in cost. So basically, it's a stronger plan than what you guys have. We have credit for time insured, no waiting periods, so you know there's absolutely nothing to prohibit, no breaking coverage whatsoever. And basically, we're off and running. A couple things that we have found that would benefit the employees is that right now the Delta plan that you guys have, we have individual or two-parent family only coverage. So there are a smattering of people here that have about 10 or 12, I think we figured, that have two-parent family coverage. Some of those people, by the law of probability, are dad's husband and wife or single-parent family coverage, but they're forced to buy two-parent family coverage in order to cover them. We do offer primary and spouse coverage, single-parent family coverage, and two-parent family coverage. So the employees should be able to save quite a bit there. The only individuals that would be negatively affected by this change would be those that are indeed covering spouses and children. Our rates are $10 a month more than what you guys are currently paying through Delta. But the Delta plan has got a $1,200 a year calendar max. Ours is $2,000. We also have a rollover benefit. So if you use under $800 worth of that benefit, the calendar year max builds by $400 every single year, all the way to $3,600. And that's per individual. So if we have a husband and wife here, you go in for a cleaning in one cavity and you use under that $800 threshold, but you only have 3 crowns, so you max yours out. Your annual max next year would be $2,400. Yours would remain at $2,000. So it would continue to build and build and build as they have it. Rates are set in stone. They will never go up. The Delta rates are kind of based on use. If there's a heavy usage, the rates go up. With us, our rates are locked in for life, so it is guaranteed that your rates will never ever go up, our benefits will never go down. The other really, really nice feature about our dental product is that it's portable. So if somebody leaves the county for whatever reason, if they retire and go to a different occupation, they can take this coverage with them when they go, the exact policy, the exact same rate. So overall, it's just a better plan straight down the line, and it is considerably less money for the county. We handle the claims, we handle the enrollment, we handle all the questions, the comments. We've done this in 15 different counties, okay? So we've got a pretty good handle on how this all works. We know where the providers are, we know what, we know how to handle them. Do you have vision in here as well?
Yes.
Okay, how are we looking on the vision?
That's both of them together, about $9.
Oh, so both of them together, about a $9 savings. So, and that is for the dental and the vision coverage, both together. So, that's what we're asking for, is I think that it should be a pretty good fit for the county employees.
Your guys' vision coverage.
Yes, sir.
The local provider, I don't think would be an in-network provider for your coverage as far as what I've seen. Is that correct? Bridge.
I'm not sure.
At the Vision Care Associates. I think when I looked on the site, it was like in Aberdeen, Bismarck, Pier, they all have the covered providers on there. But that was the one thing I was kind of concerned about there, is that since the out-of-network benefits drop off so much for the vision, dental didn't seem to be such a big deal, but with the vision, the out-of-network benefits really drop off quite a bit.
The one thing I can tell you is that when we rolled out this vision plan in March, or when we rolled out the dental vision in March, we didn't have a strong network of providers out here. Colonial Life is a national company. We don't do, when you look at the broader scheme of things, South Dakota is kind of sparse, but we're building this network as we go by nominating providers all the way through. If your local vision person is not on the list, they will be. We're having to nominate providers pretty much straight down the line. And a lot of times the Dynamax network, the Always Care network, we have 323,000 providers nationally. So we have not had any issues with getting people to join our network. And honestly, if we walk in and say, this is what we're rolling out in the county, will you accept it? They're going to accept it because they want that business. So if that is the case, we'll have them in the network. If you're a Ford mechanic in a town full of Chevys, you better learn how to work on Chevys. So that's kind of the premise, is that providers, they're out to get business, so we haven't had any issue getting them on network here. And if they don't show up on the list, a lot of times that's simply because that list is about 8 to 12 weeks behind. So they very well may be, they just haven't updated and shown up yet,
Vision
right?
Care is one that I have requested,
Like I said, we've done this in numerous different counties. It seems to be a pretty good fit. Haven't had any issues with anything so far. It is a pretty good savings for the county. So, and better coverage for the employees, so it's kind of a one-one.
I don't think I had anything else other than, I know with your life insurance coverage, were you ever able to get a flat rate on that, or?
I haven't got it.
The other products that we can't bring on board, okay, and we wanted to primarily talk about the dental vision first because that's where the county would benefit the most. We do have a full portfolio of benefits that we're able to bring on board. I'll give you the 2-second commercial. The first one is short-term disability. You get hurt, you get sick. I have 4 kids. My wife doesn't work outside the home. If I'm not working, we don't eat. The short-term disability that we can bring on board for the employees here goes all the way out to 24 months with the disability insurance, if that's what they choose. We have 3, 6, 12, 24 months. Probably the most important thing is that it is a guaranteed issue product, which means that every single employee of the county qualifies for this. So no one's going to get turned down, which is very, very nice because we can offer it out on a level basis. These are voluntary benefits, so you can choose to enroll, you can choose not to. You can say no thank you this year, 2 years later, decide to jump on board. It's entirely, you know, these are benefits that are gonna be made available. Our accident plan, a couple years ago, my daughter went down the Sudden Hill, snapped her arm right below the growth plate. She's a tough kid, very common injury. We got about $4,000 for that fracture. A lot of ag industry out here. Farming is not the safest occupation in the world. An accident plan simply pays you hundreds, if not thousands of dollars for everything from cuts to comas. So, you know, if you got kids in sports, if you work on a farm, if you're a thrill seeker, you may want to jump on an accident plan that costs about $10 a month. That'll pay you very, very well for, you know, any injury that you sustain on off the job. You know, the city of East Grand Forks actually buys their accident plan for all their police and fire, as does the city of Sauk Rapids. So it kind of makes sense sometimes. The chances are slim that we can get composite rates on our life insurance. If you had 500 employees here, we could probably do it, but we don't have that size of group. But what we can do is we can bring in whole term and universal life insurance that is guaranteed issue for every employee of the county, all their spouses, and their children. So here again, if life insurance is a challenge, our only underwriting question is, are you at work today? So if you're at work, you get life insurance. Here again, all of our products are rate stable and portable, so they can take with them when they go. So if you have somebody here that's got all the life insurance they need, wonderful, they don't need us. If you have somebody here that's looking to, you know, add $100,000 onto their spouse because they've got it and their spouse doesn't, we can normally do that guaranteed issue with no biomed checks or anything else. Very, very easy, you know, easy to get into. Our cancer plan pays about $25,000 to $30,000 for the diagnosed treatment of cancer. Cancer's kind of everywhere. My dad and my mother-in-law got diagnosed with the same disease, and it can decimate a family. If that's a concern, you jump on a cancer plan. It's going to pay really, really well, help you through the financial woes so that you can focus on the healing of it. Critical illness does the exact same thing for heart attack, stroke, kidney failure. So if someone's at risk for heart disease, they're on a couple of cholesterol meds right now, they've had an episode in the past, we can normally offer them out coverage that will pay them handsomely if they have a reoccurrence. If you're young and healthy, you don't need it, you don't need it, but you may need it 5 years, 10 years down the road. And then our medical bridge, basically, no matter where you're at with your health insurance, what your co-pays and deductibles are, it basically is a way that allows the employees here to buy that deductible back down to Adam year zero. So if you're at a $2,000 deductible on your health insurance, we bring in a $2,000 medical bridge, which basically means that if you're hospitalized, if you have any outpatient surgeries, if you have any MRIs or CAT scans, we're going to pay you $2,000 for that procedure. So basically, no matter where you end up with your deductibles, because chances are rates go up, premiums go up, benefits go down in order to keep them level. I mean, there's this little thing out there called the Affordable Care Act, which is none of that. You know, we can always maneuver that plan to give the employees that soft landing if that's what they need. So these are the other voluntary products we can bring on board and make available to the employees here, as well as if they want it, wonderful. If they don't want it, it'll be available to them next year. Okay. Sure. So volunteer benefits. Questions?
So like your accident, what's the difference between that and Aflac, like we currently have?
Good question. I worked for Aflac for 5 years. I was the #2 Aflac agent in Minnesota, and the Aflac accident plan is good. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. You get hurt, you get paid. It works the exact same way on off-the-job 24/7 coverages. Our coverage, our benefit amounts are about 25 to 30% higher than Aflac. So at the time of claim, you're going to get more money, okay? And our rates are about 15 to 20% less. So, you know, I've got 17-year-old twin daughters and I have 2 kids in college. So how's that for planning, right? You know, money in my household's tight. That's all there is to it. Kids are expensive. If I can get better coverage and if I can save money, I'll do it. You know, that's if I can save 15% by going to Geico, then it's that progressive. What's that?
It's Geico.
Geico, okay. I mean, if I can do that, I will. I mean, it's, you know, my house is only, I've only got so much of the pie that I can spend on insurance. Well,
According to this, it sounds like we would have to, there ain't nobody that would make enough to pay for all this insurance.
no, and you don't, here's the thing, you don't want it all, okay? There's no way. And we're not gonna benefit every single person in the county that has Aflac coverage. If you've got a cancer plan with a return of premium, you're 10 years into it, you need to keep it. That's it. But normally, what I tell people is pick one. Okay, what's the biggest concern? And my family, my biggest concern is disability, because I drive 70,000 miles a year. And I'm worried about deer strikes and drunk drivers and everything else. If I get laid up, we're sunk. That's my biggest concern. So, you know, should I have one of each? Well, I suppose, but that's just not, that ain't gonna happen. I do this for a living, so if there's a way to figure out how to make it happen, I could, but, you know, I've got disability and accident plan, that's what I've got. My daughters play basketball, softball, and volleyball. So there's always some homework there. So, but no, and, you know, every single plan on here, okay, costs less money than anyone makes by the hour. Okay, you're not talking, these are $1 a day plans. The accident plan is far less than that, disability is generally less than that too. So you're not talking, oh my gosh, expensive, but the bottom line is I would recommend that anybody have more than one or two. That's just my take on it, so. But like I said, with the dental, it's simply a better, more cohesive plan. With the vision, we will get your vision provider. If not, like you said, if you nominated them, when did you do that?
Oh,
Okay, they very well may be in by now. So, and if not, they will be. So.
So like any of these, if you go to Bismarck, across the state lines, does it make a difference?
No, it does not make a difference. The only difference if let's just say that I was in Colorado for meetings last week, and let's just say that I fell and busted a tooth and I had to go to a dentist. Okay? I have no idea what the network is in Colorado, and I'm not going to be real picky. If I've got a busted tooth, I'm going to go see where I can see. If you see a dentist that is out of network, okay, then instead of paying 100% for cleanings and 80% for cavities and 50% for crowns, generally speaking, the coverages are about 90% for cleanings, about 70% for cavities, and about 40% for crowns. So the coverages normally decrease by about 10%. That's the only difference between the two. If you do end up going out of network, when you get your dentist card, when you get your dental card or your vision card, you get a list of the nearest 10 providers where you're at. Okay, so there's no doubt where you're at. You know, and if they're not a network, we get them a network. That's what we've had to do out here. It's we're lonely out here. So I mean, I live in Alexandria, Minnesota, so it's not real metro out there either. So, lakes. So that's what we're proposing doing, and I think we can save the county quite a bit, and I think we can help the employees here out quite a bit, and it really is kind of I believe it to be a win-win.
We renew this the same time we do the health insurance. This one's before.
Renewal's in July, but from what I understood, you can basically drop the other one and start it up anytime here.
Whenever you bring in a new benefit, okay, it triggers open enrollment for the county. So basically, it's like a status change. So if you have a baby in the middle of your plan year, if you get married, if you get divorced, you can add or change your health insurance to reflect that coverage. This would be the exact same thing. So there wouldn't be any, we're not stepping on any toes or anything else. The only thing that if I could recommend one thing, The only time that this would be even a small step back is for anybody here that is indeed covering wives and kids. If we're saving about $9 a month per employee that the county is saving, there are about 10 family coverages on there. If you really wanted to make this a great fit for the family coverages, contribute employee plus $10 for everybody that is carrying two-parent family, and that way we make up the difference for those select people that would probably only be a handful of people out there. But the county would still save considerably over the course of the year. Does that make sense? So, I mean, that would be the only thing for me. You know, my wife and all 4 of my kids, if we make the change and it's $10 a month more, if the county could help those certain individuals out, you're still gonna net a boatload of savings. They're still gonna get a lot better coverage, but that way it wouldn't cost those people any additional to keep those rates right exactly where they're at.
So like, here we offer, we're on an HSA right now.
Yep.
Could they take that $10 out of the HSA and put towards that? To make up for the family part of it?
No, but you can't use HSA money to pay insurance premiums, so no. But what you could do is you could decrease your HSA election by $10 a month and pay for this with pre-tax dollars. Same exact thing, it's just that way we're keeping you in compliance.
I know somebody that'd be pissed off about that, but that'd be a nightmare for you, wouldn't it?
Not really.
And like I said, there's a handful of people that this will apply to. So, not everybody, but, you know, it would be, so you do the HSA and the flex and stuff? Okay. The only thing we would need to do is have them advise you to decrease that HSA.
That would be a one-time change.
Yep.
But then we got something else on the agenda for later on too. I'm not that worried about that anyway.
What I think we should probably do is have a department head meeting after the meeting and just talk and get, or, you know, just get everybody's input on it. And then kind of move forward from there. We've seen the financial side of it here, so.
Beside next meeting.
I think so. That's probably the best way to do it. Get the employee input and put it on the agenda for the decision at the next meeting.
Okay. We'll have first back at that next meeting.
We'll see if we have a lot of questions or anything, then yeah, we can maybe bring you back, but otherwise, probably just be a procedural type thing, a yes or no vote, so.
All right. Any additional questions while we're at it?
Not right now.
All right. Thank you guys for your time. Appreciate
Thank you.
it.
Thank you.
All right. Yep.
We'll go with Kenny. You wanna do yours right now, or you wanna wait on you until afterwards?
Not talking about it.
Ryan?
Everybody got the, monthly reports for July? Any questions, or sure, answer any? Year of encouragement or whatever.
I know which one was received first.
So they get anything from standing around?
Well, they got one check from them. They're gonna give me another check for $1,883, that's, 16 and 90 days, I'm supposed to have it today actually, so.
$11,000 one?
So you said you got 12,000?
About it's better than what it used to be.
Way better.
So if you get the 11,000 a day and the 12,000, you're basically up to current status then?
Yeah, the way they've been allowed to carry like that 60 days worth of payments, which I've never agreed with, but that was a commission decision a long time ago, so. That's been that way for years and years, hasn't it, Penny? Standing around carrying that 2 months worth of payments.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That was even before I started, so you're talking over 10 years ago they've been that way.
Well, I've been here 15, and it was that way when
Yeah.
I started.
I don't agree with it, because I think if you don't have the money to front that, they say it's because of reimbursements, you know, from the tribe and everything, but if you don't have the money to front that while you wait for reimbursement, you're running that kind of operation, and so you set yourself up for failure there, I think. And for us, it's like, when do we ever get paid in full if you're letting them run 2 months behind? It's just, it is.
Might be a little hard to change it.
Probably, yeah. Had a hard time just getting them caught up.
Anybody have anything for Ryan? Could do that. Well, why don't we just take a 5-minute break before we do the bid letting then? We'll do the bid letting for the Sitka Road. Okay, the first one's gonna be Midwest Contracting.
Midwest Contracting?
Marshall, Minnesota.
Yeah, I got that.
It looks like this one's gonna be for $134,658. Is that a 20 there? Mine's gonna.
Just, no,
No, 134,
Zero?
658.
0, 0.
Zero, zero.
Is the bid bond closed?
Yes. Okay, the next one from Mainline Contracting, Rapid City. And this one's for 172,641.
It was bond,
Pardon me?
bond.
Yes. The next one is AG Corporation, the Fort Pier. This one's for 119,315. Next one is going to be B&B Contracting out of Aberdeen. Looks like there's only one copy for this one. And that is 119,020,45. What's that?
Just the best.
Someone else do it
Sure.
first. Just wait with that one.
Do we keep culverts on these, or do they take?
Okay, the next one's RP and H, Reliance.
This is the last one.
We'll just for that last one to go with you. And for this one, it's gonna be 165,933. Okay, the next one's gonna be Morris Incorporated out of here. And this one will be for 190, 730. Commission feel.
So we have to take recommendations and go review them and come back.
We'll check the map on the field.
Why is there such a difference in price of the precast?
There is.
Oh, from bidder to bidder?
Yeah.
I know there's multiple suppliers. That can be one factor, different
Are
prices.
they all the same quality or?
They're all casting it to the same ASTM specs, but, that's one factor, but part of it is too, how much it costs the guy to put it in, But it's all over the map. Well, I mean, you can see there's quite a bit of variation there.
From 65,000 to 118.
Yeah.
I think we need to go through this other stuff and then I can also check to do.
What's that?
We need to go through my other stuff. And then we'll go check the map on this. Unless you want to go ahead with this other stuff and then we'll finish up mine. We'll check the map on the two ones.
Yeah, why don't you go do that first?
Okay.
Okay, we'll skip down to Josh.
Good morning.
Any questions on my report?
Give me just 1 sec here. I guess my question is, we've gone over these and gone over them.
Which report, Jim?
Pretty much starting from the beginning of the year.
No, which
Jail.
Which report I'm
The
talking?
jail.
Okay.
Anybody got any questions for Josh's report?
Josh is, no.
What question you got then, Kevin?
I guess my question is I've been looking at these reports for months now. I guess I don't understand where you're coming up with some of these numbers, because none of these numbers are matching up. If you take just this last one from July, with the numbers that you have, that you're providing us on this sheet, the days served compared to what should be billed out doesn't match with what you billed out.
Okay.
I don't understand why that is.
I'll go back and look into it.
This month, from numbers that you have on here, if you take days served for BIA, multiply that by the 80, U.S. Marshals, Department of Corrections, out of county, the way I got it figured, you should have billed out $43,965. You billed out $42,730. $43,965. You actually billed out $42,730. That's a difference of $1,235 that we're short. Going back through other ones, it's short every month. Anywhere from $355 to $3,000 some odd dollars. So I guess I don't understand where you're coming up with these numbers. The meals that don't come out anywhere close.
Well, I know they separate them out between U.S. Marshal, our federal holds are separating for each one because of billed out separate. Each county is individually billed, so it figures out the days for each county, so you can send the bill out. And then he uses the total number to get the grand total.
of days served. So I guess
But wouldn't that match out to what's been billed out?
I would think so.
And it's pulled off their book.
Should match, something should match out.
I'll look into
The only thing I talked to you about would be the day difference would be with the US Marshals, because of it's like their fiscal year, their day runs different too. So I'm gonna explain that, but, because we've had to, it doesn't, like everybody else, it goes by from the time that we hit the door. So, and the day we come in. That 24-hour clock starts running.
And I know the meals we talked about last time, when I put a new sheet together, the revamped the sheet that they use to try and get it more accurate as far as the meal counts. I got put together refused, lots of other stuff on there that's.
I understand that the meals should be less than what you would have for maximum, but it's always more.
Well,
July was actually the first month.
This one came up less, I seen 49 meals.
49 meals less, that's where it should be, but when you got 413 meals extra.
That one I'm still looking into, I'm pulling.
My question is the meals right? We're not billing out what we should be billing out.
I'll pull some more stuff and look into it. I got, get some more stuff up here. I'll go through the stuff that's been turned into me for the billing. I keep it all in the packets. I'll go through that hand by hand and look at it.
Like May is 1,287 short. June was $2,550 short from what we should have been billed out. These are the numbers that you give us. My question are, I don't see how these numbers can be accurate.
I'll pull it all up and look at it. I keep it all when we get through the end of the week. I'll go through them.
March was 3,230 short. The way I figure, right now, we're sitting at about $10,750 short for the year. Through July.
Is that possible that some of the counties are not being billed out? I mean, how could that happen? I mean,
They're all getting filled out.
but I mean, if you say you tally out for each time a meal is, the meal should pretty much,
The meal
should tell.
The new one I'm still looking at, the booking cards, they come in and they go out, it's all hand wrote down on the booking cards. And that's where you get your days served. So when they come in on the first, they go out the 19th. You don't count the day they come in, you count the day after. And count it to the 19th. That's the days it gets put on the bill. So I'll go through
If they
all.
come in and get bonded out right away, as long as they're booked in, is that a day served?
According to the judge, yes.
Yes.
If they go to court, they'll get credit for a day of jail.
Okay.
So say they
If
come
you
in.
suspect, let's say suspend the sentence, they'll say 30 days, or, credit 1, suspend 29.
Yeah.
So
On those deals like that, are they getting billed out as far as jail stays? Then if they're coming in the same day and they basically in and out? Because
Yes.
would that reflect where say
They're
maybe some of
they're
our,
in for a day.
is that maybe where some of the stuff isn't getting billed, that we're missing out on some of the days served?
I'll go back and look through the packets. If they're in there a day, even if they're in there for,
So something to look at.
if they come in at 6 in the morning and they get bonded out at 2 p.m., they get charged a day. They still get the day. No matter if it's 8 hours or 12 hours or whatever, they still get the day.
But in all reality though, that might be how it's working, but then they might not even be eating. So I mean, so if your meal count should be less than.
They're not gonna eat 3 meals, no.
Right, that's what I'm saying, is that then your meal count would be,
I know, that's why I'm
Would
still
be
looking
less.
at June. June happens to be
That's why I come up with a new sheet for them to fill out. That are, they gotta handwrite it in. I came up with more categories on it, so there should be nothing missed on the new one, but it isn't gonna go in the kitchen until September, because we're already halfway through August.
I just,
Can you get that figured out or an attempt by September meeting?
Yeah.
The first one, not the second one?
Yeah, I do the second.
Because it's obviously a
this is
discrepancy,
not the
and I'll
first
find out
time,
what it is.
this is not the first time we've talked about this, and it's always, well, I gotta go back and look. The way I got it figured out, we're just $10,750 short from billing out for what we should have been billed out for the year.
I know there are some counties we're not gonna charge if they get picked up, you know, one of our people gets picked up in Hughes County on a warrant for us. They don't charge us, nor do we charge them if we pick up one of their persons on a warrant for them and they're in here for a day or two. That's just something that they don't do because we don't charge each other for stuff like that.
It's a felony warrant and they're wanted from another state. But
We get a lot of them,
We get a few.
$10,000 worth.
Yeah, go back and look. We had one in
I wouldn't think
Reed
so.
County just the other day, but she ended up getting bought it out before we got it.
So you're talking maybe a day.
Day or two here and there, 3 days, depends on how long it takes to get them. Like that one in Meade County, Sturgis, we wouldn't have went and got her. We'd have had her set up on transport to come to Hughes, and we would have went to Hughes instead of all the way to Meade County.
I'm just wondering if the meal count, I can believe the meal count because they're handwriting it every day. If you take a look at the meal count, you could add another 16,000 on there, so we'd be 26,000 short if you go by the meal counts.
And the booking cards are handwritten as well. They're handwritten because that's all they have, is they're handwritten when they come in and handwritten when they go out. And all you gotta do is count the days between the 2 dates.
Right now, they're double logging meals. You know, they're putting it in the computer too, because there's a computer log of meals.
I'll go back and look at the numbers you got, and I'll go back and look at it.
I mean, if you just multiply them out, and that's what I did, is take your reports and multiply them out, and then I got what you gave for what you billed out.
Yep.
And they're every month is less.
Yeah,
And these are the numbers that you gave us.
I'll go back and go through them again.
So if you go by the meals, we're 26,000 short. If you go by what the day served on this is, then you're 11,000 short. I don't understand why there's such a disparity in there. That's my only thing, is I don't believe any of the numbers that you give us in these reports.
I'll go back to the packets, I got them all.
Well, Josh, what are you thinking, where can be the difference be? I mean, it's obvious there's a difference, I mean, you got the meals and.
That high a discrepancy, Scott, I don't know why that, you know, that 400 is kind of, it don't make any sense. But he's gonna have to go back and, he's gonna have to backtrack and find out why that number is like that. If somebody's transcribing a number wrong, I have no idea. But when they're putting it down in 2 different places, and if those 2 are matching up from what's being logged in the computer and what's being written down in the kitchen when they're serving the meals, I mean, there's not rocket science behind it. They count the trays. It's not what's on the tray, it's the tray going in. I mean,
That's the kind of,
Plates, on trays.
that's kind of the crazy thing is that when them trays go out, that should tell tell it right there, even if somebody's not, let's say that they got out early, so they're not even there. So that number should be way less than what it is, instead of more.
Unless I go over and count them all myself, because we have such a discrepancy, but, I mean, that ain't gonna fix it either. I can't work, it's, I don't know.
I'm thinking that
the meals are right.
The meals are probably more accurate than any other number is.
Okay. Well, that could be, but like I said, you're gonna have to.
I mean, if you take a look at these numbers and what I got, that completely throws your cost of meals off and everything else too, so.
The revenue will be coming, I'll be making copies of the checks, the revenue and stuff, because I gotta have a tracking basis. So I'll still be making copies of those checks before they come upstairs. And give it to Nyla. All the revenue will be going through her now as of September.
We did find, I think, the U.S. Marshals and BIA from what they've been getting up here. We did actually match up a few of them numbers, so I was surprised that we found that we could match up some of them, BIA and the U.S. Marshals, but like the out of county, I have no idea. But according to this, they're getting billed out wrong too. The U.S. Marshals and BIA are getting billed out wrong.
Those two usually catch it if the snafu's on our end.
Well, then it's got to be on the, because it's not broke down of. I mean, I just take the end numbers. I don't know. I don't have what's broke down in the county or whatever.
Well, we were doing that, but that's going to be a larger report if you want to see that. And
I know.
But if these, it's an overall number, so I mean, it should be, you can most certainly go back to doing that.
Because you was throwing all your other money in there too and just writing one check to come up here.
Yep, and we started splitting the checks.
We had no idea what was what. So.
That was one idea, and then we decided to send all the revenue up here. Which I already met with Nyla about. So.
Okay, so Nyla, I got a question. When they send that up here, do you have a build out statement? Or are you gonna have, Josh, maybe, are you gonna have a build out?
She's gonna get a copy of the statement that's sent out so she knows what's coming in and who it's for.
Okay.
So it can probably
so you can match
that
up then? You'll be able to match that up when the checks come up to here?
I get a copy of the statement with the check.
I just think we're losing a ton of money. Just from the numbers that you give us, nothing's matching up. And we're losing a considerable amount of money. If we've only received in 110,000 so far, and we could be off 26,000, that's 25%. Over 25%.
Okay, I'll go back through them. I got them all saved.
When you put these numbers down, do you not cross-reference them to what was billed out? I mean, when that build-out number comes out, isn't that a way for you to check that out? Make sure that what's billed out and what's being reported are the same deal?
Yeah. The billing, she does the billing out for the sheets that she gives me. So when the billing comes over, I give it to Tina and she gets it mailed out.
But what I'm saying, he got the report from you as far as what was actually billed out month after month, and none of them are coming out. So when you give these reports out here and you multiply these out, don't you cross-reference any of that to make sure that it comes out?
I look at what she gives me, yes, and it all comes out on the paper that she gives me, and on the sheets, because she has a tally on the bottom, and I look to make sure the numbers match. But like I said, I can go through and find these goals and make sure her math is coming out correctly. Because maybe there's a discrepancy in there, or maybe the days aren't counted. I don't feel like I can pull booking cards too, and make sure the days are being counted accurately too.
Something
I
has
think
to be done.
that's gonna have to be your, that's gonna have to be your first priority, is going back to the day that they come in, rechecking those
I'm gonna
days.
have to recheck the days and make sure the days are being counted correctly and then being put in the computer correctly from that point on.
Because you said last meeting that if you were billing them out wrong, they would let you know. Well, they're not gonna bill you, they're not gonna let you know if they're getting underbilled. That's a benefit to them.
Most are probably not, no. The only, BIA and USMs are always letting us know if it's not built right. I haven't gotten nothing from them in a while. Because they'll fax it back saying you're missing a day or you got a day too long or whatever. Because they want it accurate too. Because they keep track of what they got here.
I have a question. Are BIA supposed to be received into local or federal?
BIA are considered federal. Separate contract, so to speak, but they're considered federal.
That's all I have.
I guess I would definitely need to do a little homework there.
I'll go back
Because something's not off of your numbers.
Yeah, I'll go back first. Good.
And I know it's short notice, but first meeting in September.
Yeah.
Well, it's been asked for quite a few months here, so.
Do my best.
Alrighty.
Can I bring something up in new business, or can I bring it up under here if it's not there? They can't act on it yet today anyway.
Yeah, so I have to act on it.
I'm always looking at the budget and the budgets and where our numbers are at. Justin is 359% spent in his services and fees. And also some of those fees came out of mine. We had talked about way back when, either, and I can't remember for sure, either the Brad Hump fees for the jail stuff was gonna come out of commission, or it was gonna come out of jail. And I'm asking for a transfer to get done into the budget to take care of that. So because that we could not plan for. We did not know what was going on at that point in time to have that be a deciding factor in there. I know we can do a supplement on it, or ask for a supplement at the end of the year. I would like to see it as a transfer. And possibly get that rectified. Because right now, I mean, we're all talking about budget stuff, budget. And that is not the way that line item is. It's not our fault because of where that is. And I know when we do contingency transfers that it's looked upon most of the time as poor planning. That's not the case here, and I don't want that to come across, because that's not what it is. So I don't know what the board thinks, but I know we can't do anything about it today, it's not on here. But just food for thought, if you guys whatever the difference is, you guys can talk to the auditor, she can explain what the difference between transfer and transferring dollars out, or doing a contingency at the end of the year.
Do you think that's where it's all at, is probably in the Brad deal?
The reason that's so expensive, it's the services and fees for all the jail stuff.
The service and fees took a hit on that.
341.
Do you guys total what that would be? Can you have that by then?
That's 341.
It's about 51,000 total, I think.
I mean, you don't have to right now.
No, I left the slip out here, I brought it.
Just so you
Yeah.
know.
It's 51 to 610
Is what I came up with, 51, 610, 18. But if we would have known that, I mean, obviously stuff can be planned, and that's the whole idea with budgeting. You're trying to plan stuff, but, you know, that stuff wasn't in there.
All that was in there when I was planning for was the zerker stuff to come out. That half on that side.
Correct.
We'll just do that at the next meeting or later.
Or what's the,
Depends on where you're gonna pay it out of. Can it come out of the building fund? I mean, that was discussed too.
I think that's where it should come from.
well, I guess you guys can research that. Like I said, it don't have to be done today.
And that's why we haven't done it yet, because we didn't know how much more we were gonna be spending. Brad just
Oh.
billed in July.
Okay. And that's
So,
fine.
that's why there hasn't been anything done.
No problem.
We'll discuss that at the next meeting.
No problem. I mean, it's not, I just wanted out, like, it's not poor planning. It was.
Yeah,
stuff that-
everybody's aware of that.
So, I just didn't want that getting out like that. But anyway, that's all I had.
We got one more.
Oh, yeah.
One more thing.
I guess we do. Sorry. The next line item is probationary raise, 50 cents for Mark Kaiser.
Need a motion for that? You got a motion on the floor, I need a second. Got a second, any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion passed.
And the second one, 50% probationary increase for equipment.
Okay, I'll need a motion for that. Got a motion on the floor, I need a second. Got a second, any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Opposed say nay. Motion passed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So how many are we down now?
At the end of the month, it'll be,
I got one hired, so it'll be 5.
All right, thank you. Yes, Penny.
Our recommendation is to take AGE's bid. And one of the reasons for that is B&B contracting did not submit all the copies that they were required to with their bid.
I mean the 7 copies?
Yeah, did that, the math checks out. It is as read, B&B is the lowest bid. They didn't provide the 7 copies, so that's something yet to be discussed. As far as capabilities, either contractor can do the job.
Is 7 copies worth it for 'em? I mean, I guess, I'm asking, what's the,
Well,
I mean, I know it
we've had questions from some of the bidders, so.
about that. But I mean, that wasn't, what I'm saying is on other ones, that's not the first time that somebody hasn't gave the copies, so. I wish Jamie was here, because I just soon asked Jamie that question.
I might want to take a look at our bidding documents, the full set. I think there's some language that says the owner can waive irregularities as the owner sees fit. That to me is, it's not complying, but is it a big deal? I don't know. It becomes almost a legal question. for it.
Would.
It's an opinions vary, you know? He provided for bonds and everything else.
Truthfully, I think I'd rather ask Jamie if that would be the reason to give that bid because of something like that.
I'll wait to wait and see if he gets done by the time we close the meeting out. We've still got other stuff to do in here too, so
Okay.
we can wait.
How do you feel, Jim Dunn? Do you think that's a question we need to ask Jamie? I mean,
Well, it was brought up by one bidder, so that.
We have rules and requests in our bid. If they don't follow it, I think, but is that a big enough?
what I'm saying is, it's been in the past where there's been people that didn't submit 7 copies. Do I know if they got the bid? That I couldn't tell you, but I know. I just.
That's the case should be.
And then if we don't do it this time, we'll be discussing the same thing next time. And if we don't hold our feet to the fire this time, it'll be the same discussion next time. If they don't give 7 bids or 7 sheets. I don't know, in my mind, if we're gonna ask for bids and have it outlined what we need that. And maybe, we'll talk to Jamie, but maybe now's the time to change our policy and hold tight to it.
I mean, I don't have a problem with it, but it's just that I would just assume Jamie answer that question for us if that's exactly what we should do with something like that. Just because of 7 pieces of paper.
You'd have a pretty strong argument to not accept it.
And that's what I'm getting at.
That would be a strong argument.
There's,
Oh, yeah.
there's
We've been down there.
potential arguments to number 1 and number 2. I don't know what yet. What would you do?
How many bids have you lost by not providing the right amount of paperwork?
Let's just wait until Jamie gets done with his upstairs. Hopefully he does, and if not, then we'll make that decision.
Okay. Any questions on my July budget balances?
The only one I had is that, I know I ask this every year, but your snow removal, that's at the end of the year, right?
That is correct.
That's what I thought. I ask you the same thing every year.
Yes, you do. And my answer's the same. Yes, it's done at the end of the year. Okay, I'm gonna let Mike explain about what's going on with our project out on 319.
So the contractor paved, you guys know this, contractor paved about half the highway and did a bunch of work adjacent, poured some approach pavements, has the project about half done. There were some questions that came up as to the thickness of the pavement. It was supposed to be 8 inches. We decided to core the pavement and take some samples. There's a half dozen cores taken yesterday, and the average of those cores was 7.2 inches. The minimum was 6 1/4 inches. There was a 6 1/4, 6 3/4. I can give you the exact results, but that's the highlights.
Deepest was 8 1/8.
Deepest was 8 1/8, which was within spec, but the others, I mean, there's 2 7 1/4s, 6 1/4, 6 3/4, and a 7 3/4. So that pavement is not within spec. And the question of what to do, now that's, there's different ways that can be taken. I brought this information to the attention of the contractor yesterday, and He thanked me for giving it to him, and I haven't had any discussions with him since. Came up late yesterday. I got these results about 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon. So, the pay estimate, it sounds like you didn't take any action on it. If you, I wouldn't at this point. It's obvious, I guess, but the rest of the work, from what we've seen, I don't see any difficulties with specification with that concrete right here, on that main line pavement, so.
What about the height of the road?
Talking about the height relative to kind of what Scott and I were talking about the other day.
I'm gonna ask a question, Mike.
Sure.
And tell me if you think that this is possibly how the contractor did it. Do you think that he went by your stakes and he actually, you know, flip-flopped so that that's how, to me, we're getting high? Is that possible that that's what he did? That he brought that 8 more inches because
Kind of misread the stakes?
well, and
put it on.
instead of being at the top, where you said the top, that actually 8 more went on the top.
It's possible.
I mean, to me, that makes a lot of sense that that's what's happening, like that's where we're getting the height that where I'm talking about, where to the Selby Motel is high, to the Drones building and just everywhere. It just seems like something got high. And how did it, that's the only really way that could have happened is if, like they misread you.
It could be.
And they took that up there.
We can check stake elevations versus the slab, and then if need be, you know, survey elevations. I don't know, a lot of times the stakes get taken out during construction. I'd have to go and check.
I know there's a lot of stakes to the west.
Still there?
Yeah.
They're still there.
What was his name?
Jack?
No. Jose. No. Jose, he was the one that, not Joe, when Joe's not there, he's the one that's in charge.
Okay.
That's the one Mary and I first talked to that morning was Jose, and Jose's the one that said he's in charge when Joe's not there.
Okay.
And he's the one that told us there are stakes in there yet. He said there's still survey stakes.
He made the comment, road is too high.
That's the first
The
thing.
whole road's too high. So.
When we first walked up there, it's the first thing that Jose said to us.
How did they make it to?
Well, is what I'm saying.
That's
They
what I was
did what
wondering.
I said.
When you stake that out, is your, like, top of the deal, like, talk to a guy that does a lot of the state inspection and stuff, and he said that a lot of times they set those stakes top of curb. And he says then they come in with a machine, they mill that out, and it drops that thing down to the top of curb. He says, is it possible that they got the top of curb at the bottom of the curb?
Or potentially at the edge of pavement. That depends on how the contract. Some guys are used to, so if the curb top's here, here's the edge of pavement, you know, about 5-6 inches lower. Potentially they thought they were working with one or the other.
And that's what I was wondering, if that stake said top of curb, and next thing you know, they've got it bottom of curb and we're 12 inches higher or 14 inches higher because of thickness. You get a 6-inch curb and an 8-inch slab.
That's potential. I mean,
It's like I said, that's what I figured we were going into the Selby Motel was right in that, you know, how I shot there, somewhere around that 10 inches, you know. And to me, that would make sense. I think it would all come out that it almost acts like they just misread that.
we can check that.
To bring that.
So, I mean, especially if there's stakes in place, that doesn't take much to check.
I know there's still some down there. They kind of got a lot of fill on them and sloughed off the road down there by Norm's building to the west. I think roughly about 4 of them look like they were probably the original ones.
That'd be helpful. And then we've also got control points we can work from. Check that. Just to see what's going on there. But then, of course, the pavement thickness is a different issue altogether.
How about the map? Was there supposed to be fabric put down underneath this too?
There was fabric under it.
And fabric in place, yeah.
And maybe I shouldn't even be saying it, but I mean, Joe probably is a very good excavator operator, but that machine is huge. And for you to judge taking 8 inches off, well, I've been doing it for 20, 25 years. And I mean, to take 8 inches, when you got, that thing's got a 5-foot bucket on it, it's massive. For you to take 8 inches off a road would have been very hard. And I mean, that's how they did it. They broke it up that way.
That's not unheard of, to get kind of close.
Yeah, but.
And then fine blade it with a blade.
Correct, but I'm just saying is where I think that he got down where the fabric showed up. That he got into the fabric.
And I think they overdug there up by the oil company one day, misread a stake.
I know they were way deep when I called Penny on water truck was in there. It was in there dripping water in there.
Hole he just dug.
Right, big hole.
So my recommendation is not to pave this portion, not to do anything. I'd like to give Mike time to get a hold of Garrick and get some answers from him.
Now, 6 1/4, I mean, that's to me is.
That's way out.
That's way too much.
It's way out.
We chose to do that coring so you guys are aware of it. So, figured it'd be the right thing to do. So that's how that happened.
At this point, it's not clear, you know, the height is one issue and the stakes, it's not clear to me how they got to that level out, that far out spec.
Variation in the depths.
We checked several spots with string when they were setting it up, and it was within spec at that point. But Jack said that was several days prior to pour too. So, I don't know. So we're going to be discussing with the contractor what happened and then the remedy. I mean, because potentially, well, and I don't know if we want to discuss remedies at this point. We're starting to get details, but you know, there's potential of removing all of it, removing part of it, and even with part of it, there might still be a deduct. So.
No, there hasn't been any, I haven't been out there, there's been nothing else poured since we were there. I had just seen a cement truck coming from that way this morning, so I didn't know if they had poured something. But I didn't know. I mean, they could have came from down by Norm's for some other reason.
Yeah. No, they're not.
I didn't think any trucks were down there, but I seen them come from that way, so.
Must be something going else on, but no, there's nothing wrong.
With that big of a discrepancy in thickness, that's, I would think would have to be pretty major ability to not accept it.
It's out of spec right now, as it is.
By quite a ways.
Yeah. Yeah, the only test that was in spec was the 8 1/8.
That was on the west end.
Yeah.
That was the last section.
So 5 out of 6 were out of spec.
You take 1.5 inches of concrete off of that big of a slab, that's a lot of yards.
We don't want to fix that road, as far as I'm concerned, ever again.
And if this is done, we won't.
Right. So then you're meeting with?
Yeah, I'm gonna, after this meeting, I'm gonna call here and see what he proposes. Potentially, you know, if you do deducts, you gotta be careful how you do that too, because some of the stuff that's close to plan thickness, you could maybe accept a deduct and maybe the road will be fine. But the stuff that's way out of spec, I don't think I'd feel comfortable leaving that. That'd have to be replaced, you know, so there's any range of options from full replacement to accepting it fully with a huge deduct, but not that I'm advocating that.
So I'm already pretty sure that, I'm not pretty sure, I know that the ones that will be bowing out of this road deal with that, there's no question about it. The ones that were putting money forth.
Yep.
There's no question about that.
And that's a good consideration, but even that notwithstanding, we gotta be within spec.
Right.
Okay, well, I will let you know as soon as I hear back from Mike what
Okay.
we're gonna come up with, we're gonna come up with for a solution. Then we have on our bid letting, one of the contractors brought it to Mike's, or one of the bidders brought it to Mike's attention that, he did not supply 7 copies as they did, as required in the bid notice. Is that grounds to not take the lowest bid? They are the lowest bid.
Off the top of my head, I don't know, because we've had plenty of other bidders, so I'll have to look and see what the,
But I mean, is that really something that you would take, they wouldn't get the bid, low bid, because of 7 copies?
no, but I just want to make sure. I would assume, how about this then? Why don't you, have you already looked at everything and it's, all the bids are good to go and everything in compliance other than that?
Yeah.
I would say go ahead and award that pending my, making sure that that does not disbar them from, and I would assume it doesn't, not giving 7 copies, but I can't say off the top of my head, so pending me getting that answer, which won't take long. Like today.
Okay, yeah, we would go with B&B contracting, which is the low bid at $19,020.45.
That's right.
Okay,
I'll need a motion for that.
$295.
Oh, they didn't give, so you're going to give us.
B&B did not give 7 copies. Or $290.
Okay, got a motion on the floor, I need a second.
I'll second.
Got a second, any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay, motion passed.
these are for you guys. I have a new work cell phone, not the number, the number's the same, but also, we had a good deal from Valley, and Dave Ritter's cell phone number, who's a new lead guy, is also on here. I think that's enough copies for everybody. I'll keep that one from there. If you can't get a hold of me on my work cell, yes, call my personal one, but you should, at least during work day, you should be able to get a hold of me on my work cell. So if you want to plug them numbers into your cell phone, that'd be awesome. And I will be advertising for a new equipment operator. Ronnie did tell me that he is going to be done in November, so I'm going to be advertising for an equipment operator. Just so you're aware.
Ready?
Right. So we will go with B&B then. Scott, I do need those envelopes with all the stuff in them.
Okay.
This might be a key product. Especially B&B and ABE.
B&B is right there.
Yep.
Thank you. Ben, you wanna give them a voicemail or a call? Ring the bell?
Well, and then I guess I don't need to write.
Do you want a copy of the bid specs?
Okay. I would assume it's not necessary, but I want to make sure.
Yeah, and that's good. We need to just, because it's pretty,
We're busy with a
Yeah, when
company
it's
that
that
big.
close.
and get,
Yeah, get a little.
Company that big.
Yeah, so that's fine. I'll give you a call.
okay, and then I'll call you.
If that's in court this afternoon, so it'll probably be later on this
Okay,
afternoon.
that's fine. I got everything got my so but I'll have my cell phone with me.
So to me, that's the case, and that's the requirement, then you automatically get discredited and then for bid red.
What? Yes, you do.
I know. They had some,
Anything else for Penny?
I just made a comment, I said that if that's the case where that is that big of a deal, then their bid should not even be read.
Correct.
That's true.
If that.
The only problem is we've always been allowing a single page, so we'll find out.
I mean, if that's what it is, that's what it is, I mean, then we should
Yeah, we wouldn't even open the bids, yeah.
Not
yeah,
even.
Yeah.
Once it's
You know
open,
what I mean?
only see one.
Yeah.
Yes, not in
We're
there.
gonna accept it, we just will not pay the requirement.
Whoever the chair is should just say it then. If that's the case.
We will find our answer out.
Alrighty.
And then I'll let
Thank you.
Kenny know and she'll
Thank you.
Thanks.
let everybody else know.
And I'll keep you guys updated as I get information from my.
Okay,
Thanks.
thank you. Sherry.
Well, good morning, everybody. As you probably know, I am Sherry Rosso, and I am your 4-H youth advisor here in Walworth County. It's been about a year since I was hired, so I thought maybe I'd just give you a quick update of what I've been doing in the last year. I'll start with a few statistics. 4-H members in Walworth County, we have 81 total. 60 of those are 4-H age youth, and 21 are Clover Buds. And Clover Buds are youth that are ages 5 to 7. Out of those Clover Buds, I have 13 that are in the Selby area, and 8 of them are in the Mulberry area. We continued on with the shooting sports program here in Walworth County. We had 24 youth that participated this year. 24 were in archery, and 23 did BB gun. Now, some of the 4-Hers that shoot, some shoot in Mobridge and some come to Harriet, because it kind of depends on what their schedules are, because some nights, because some of the older kids are in, basketball or do stats or whatever, so the Friday night that we do in Mobridge doesn't always work for them, but we do it Sunday afternoon in Harriet, so I allow the kids to come to one or the other. They can pick and choose what works for their schedule. With that said, we had 3 youth from Walworth County qualified for our state shoot that was held in Pier for archery, and 2 qualified for BB gun. And 2 of those that qualified in archery participated in the state shoot, and the 2 that qualified in BB gun did also participate down in Pier. Just recently, I assisted the South Dakota Game Fish and Parks, the conservation officers from Miller and Mobridge with a hunt safe course that was held in Harriet. We had 15 youth that attended. I had youth from Mobridge, Glenham, Akaska, and of course some from Harriet. Because sometimes schedules just don't work right. We just wanted to put that out there and have one that was a little bit, a different date and different time than the ones that they already had held in Woolbridge. 4-H rodeo. We currently, this year, we have 16 kids that are active in 4-H rodeo throughout, and in Walworth County, and they're actively participating in rodeos all over the state. We have 4 4-H youth who are junior leaders that are volunteering and helping with different programs throughout the county, and we have 14 adults that are registered volunteers. For achievement days, I know some of this stuff has been mentioned already, but I'm gonna go over it quickly because I was pretty impressed. Static exhibits, we had 37 4-H'ers from Walworth County participating and 9 clover buds. They received 111 purple ribbons, 59 blue ribbons, and 2 red ribbons, and 32 clover bud ribbons for those kids that are not quite, 4-H age yet, that's 5 to 7-year-olds, for a total of 204 ribbons. On the flip side, Campbell County, the youth received 219 ribbons. I have a lot more young kids in Campbell County that aren't so livestock oriented. We moved on to the livestock exhibits down here in Selby. We had a total of 127 head of livestock, 16 market swine, 11 head of breeding sheep, 3 market lambs, a dairy goat, 5 breeding meat goats, 9 market meat goats, 13 breeding beef, 10 market beef, 20 rabbits, 3 ducks, 3 geese, and 33 chickens. Campbell County added an additional 24 head of livestock. It made for a really nice show. These two counties really do work well together, and the kids get along really well, and just meshes really nice. And it makes for, whether it's down in Mound City, the static part of it, or here in Selby for the livestock part, it just makes it a fair worth going to, because it just makes the numbers look better. People want to come and see something, they don't want to just come and see a duck or a pig, or you know what I mean. They see a nice active show. The actual livestock show started at 9 o'clock in the morning and ended with the round robin right before 5 o'clock. So we had a full day. It just turned out to be a really nice show. South Dakota State Fair, I'll be leaving on the Tuesday evening, August 28th, for the State Fair. I'll be taking the static exhibits down with me. Brenda will be taking some, but there's some really large items that are going to be going down from Walworth County. When I will work the entire week down there, I will finish on Monday, September 3rd. They won't let us be released until toward the evening, probably around 6 o'clock. And then I'll load up the static exhibits and bring them back. Currently, I checked this morning, we have 170 exhibits that are entered for the South Dakota State Fair. Other things that I've been working on closely, I've been trying to help out other youth advisors in say Edmonds, McPherson, Potter, and Brown counties, because some of those counties offer projects or programs that we don't currently offer. For an example with that is the county horse show. We have 6 kids from Walworth County that participate, and you cannot set up a good county horse show with only 6. It's too expensive. There's liability. It takes a lot of volunteers, and it's just easier for me to farm the kids out to counties that have county horse shows. This year, those kids that participated, I had 3 that went to Dewey County, 2 that went to Potter County, and 1 went over to Edmonds County. So I try and help out those 4-H youth advisors when they hold their horse show to ensure that our kids are always welcome. Other things that I've worked with over the last year, I started an egg in a classroom. I do that once a month in Selby. I do 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade, and up at Harriet I do K through 5. I have an iGrow reading program that I do with the pre-kindergarten, the kindergarten and 1st grade in Selby. I work with Zion Lutheran Preschool in Mobridge. Egg in the classroom this year is going to also expand to include the kindergarten classes in Mobridge starting now in September, which will be approximately an additional 50 kids. In conjunction with that, I worked with SDSU Extension in the State 4-H office, and I was able to add an additional 20 iGrow reading books to my collection, or our collection, at no cost. And so now I'll have fresh material for the iGrow reading program for this fall. Another new thing that's on the horizon is Mobridge would like me to help them set up an after-school program, and it looks like that'll probably be happening about twice a month. They're probably going to have like a open registration, and they'll allow for probably somewhere between 24 and 25 kids per time. And we'll get into that more as the program takes off. Another new thing that I had started was the clover buds. I set up a group, started a brand new group in Mobridge, Selby, and Harriet. We hold those meetings once a month. This past year, I rented some, what they call Lego We-Do robot kits from the SDSU state office for $25. If I would have purchased those kits, it would have cost me over $600. So whenever I can, I try and get some of those resources from the state. You know, they'll rent them at, you know, a very reasonable price and saves a lot of money. Those kits are really good. They're called STEM technology, STEM programming. That includes science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. They were really popular with the kids. Have a really good turnout. I average usually about 8 kids per Cloverbug group that does it, because those particular kits were geared for the 5 to 7-year-old kids. And then both in Walworth County and Campbell County, I started a new 4-H club over the last year. So that's kind of just a rough rundown of what's been going on. I just wanted to meet with you guys and ask if you had any questions on anything, and just see if you have any recommendations or something else that you'd like to see happen from my side of the fence.
I guess, I've been getting a few phone calls. I was gonna see if I could get with you after the meeting today, before you take off, to discuss some things with you and Brenda.
Okay.
If that works into your schedule.
Sure, absolutely.
Okay.
Does anybody else have anything? Good job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, and I'll be around whenever you're free, okay?
All right, thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, we go to number 24. Consider motion to approve change in personnel policy manual regarding family spouse health insurance coverage.
The last meeting, we discussed that if we were going to change the county's contribution to health insurance for family, it should be addressed in the personal policy manual. So that's kind of what I did. If you look at the bottom of section 6.5, I basically just put a little footnote down there saying that as of 8/21/2018, the county would no longer pay a portion of family health insurance coverage premiums for new insurance enrollees or current employees changing their coverage. The county will continue to pay family health insurance premiums on employees enrolled in said coverage as of 8/21/2018. So grandfathered in anybody that has it, but prevents future enrollment. It's up to you guys if you want to adopt that.
Ryan, I have a question on that. Can they enroll if they choose to pay their whole entire premium? Are they allowed to enroll?
Yeah, I don't see why not. I don't think most would elect to if they, once they see what the price would be.
I don't think so either, I just didn't know.
We definitely talked about it enough.
Do any department heads have anybody that's looking to change into family before we do this, that you know of?
I don't believe I do. None of them have mentioned it to me.
No, as far as I know, mine are the ones that are family or stay that way.
The only ones we have are the ones that don't want family that have it because they didn't realize they had to pay for it. But I think, are we out of them? Do we have any more that didn't want family but they put it down on their form? Once they found out they had to pay? I don't think we do. I think they're all gone.
Just thinking, should we give them until the next meeting to sign up if there's anybody that wants it, or if it's not an issue, I would say we can do it now.
We just do it now.
Would they ever have a reason to sign up anyways?
Yeah, it'd have to be
Coverage or
either an
something like
open
that.
enrollment or, yeah,
You
for a
can't just-
qualified
Oh, they
reason.
can't.
You can't just put it out there.
Okay.
No.
I'll make a motion to accept the change in personnel policy.
Okay, I got a motion on the floor, I need a second.
I'll second.
A second, any more discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay, motion passed. Okay, we'll go to 2019 budget discussion. We're just gonna go down the line here, Becky.
Well, however you guys wanna do it.
This is first reading, right? Well, we haven't even had a first reading. I thought today was.
I think provisional December. Yeah, it's the first meeting in September, I believe.
Okay, yeah. So we're way ahead of schedule then.
Yeah, and then adoption on the.
Okay.
The last page on this, which shows what the possible levy will be, is not, that's not completely accurate. It will be close because I don't have utilities or the values certified from the state yet. So I just took the values that Deb gave me and added the utilities that we had last year to come up with an approximate levy. Yep. This year, I think it's 2.582 or 3. Right offhand, Deb? 2 or 3? .582.
I guess I got one question that might throw a kink into everything. Depending on what happens in the November vote, and depending on how the vote comes out, the jail numbers of 1.124 million. How is that going to affect the budget, being we already have the budget set? Well, I mean, that number can change a lot. So
Once you adopt the budget, you can't make any changes after you adopt the annual budget.
we're just having a potential overage, depending on what happens, or could
under.
have a shortfall too.
If you have a shortfall, then you have to do a form of supplement.
So,
If that passed in November, would there be, because what we're talking about for taxes is, and budget is 18K19. So if it passed, would there come anything even due in 19? You know what I'm saying? Or
Well,
would that all be?
probably not.
Would that all be in 19K20?
As far as the payment for the bond, that would probably be the year after, but the operating budget is going to fluctuate one way or the other, depending on what happens in November, I think, is where we're discussing that. We're not talking about the bond payment.
But how would the operating budget switch until the jail was done?
Well,
It'd still run under the operating budget.
Right.
There's gonna be hundreds of thousands of dollars in architectural fees too, that I
Oh, yeah.
don't know if they're gonna come due as progress payment or at the end of the project, so.
Because you're gonna have that phase 2 kick in.
right, yeah, I mean,
So if that's the case, we're
those
gonna
fees,
be
yes.
way short.
So it would have to be a supplement. But it's also gonna, I mean, we only built in 400,000 of revenue for boarding,
And we're gonna
because
be-
we don't know what's going on, what's gonna happen. So that will change too, so, I mean, last year by July, we had 400,000 in revenue, right now by July, we have 110,000.
Okay.
I guess to me, there's nothing really, what happens, happens, that's how it's gonna be with that.
I was just
Whatever
curious.
the vote's gonna be.
If we had a big overage, I guess we can't change the budget anyway, so we would just,
Yep. But what I was saying, as far as operating, you know, if it gets voted down huge, I mean, and you guys decide to close it, that could change the operating costs and stuff. So we're just going with it the way it is now.
okay.
I have a question. Do you guys have a plan right now if it gets voted down? I'm not saying that it will, but it's only 2 months away.
You got your plan figured out yet?
My plan?
That I asked you a while ago.
My plan is to, worst case scenario is shut federals off and continue running as I am and do maintenance on what I can. Is what my plan is.
We definitely gotta have a plan for the last minute.
Well, and that's the
And
main
plan
thing
B?
is are you going to keep the jail open or are you going to close it after this election if it goes down?
If you do
That's the
not
question.
if you do not fund the jail, I mean, it's gonna depend on your decision. I mean, if you do not fund the jail and I have to do a bunch of transporting, well, that would essentially go away over there. And you can't just reopen it like that, without making repairs to it if we ever brought it back. But I'm gonna have cost still going to the sheriff's office because I'm gonna need additional personnel. And we all discussed that, but it weighs on the decision. But those are my 2 plans. They're not plans that I like, but those are plans that I'm gonna have to deal with.
That's why I asked you a while ago.
And that's my best answer that I can give you. And I hate to see that because we've been We've been hung up on the revenue side so bad, a lot, but if I can't comply with federal mandates, I won't be able to hold the federals there anymore.
Yes.
The other thing that if we keep this open, already after the reports, there's two possibilities. Is worst case scenario is our insurance carrier does not carry that in insurance because of the risk. The other thing is the risk of lawsuits if we remain open after this vote, even if we remain open now. So just a FYI. If you continue to operate, if it goes down and you continue to operate it after, I mean, even now, we have exposure, but if it goes down after that election and you continue to operate it, there's going to be a lot of exposure on this county. And our insurance carrier may
Anyway,
exempt
you can
that
check with
from
the
it.
insurance carrier to see what
That's
their
true.
opinion would be depending on this vote.
We could. Talk to them about it.
Because right now, our insurance isn't paying, and it's the state alliance on lawsuits, right? Or the, what is it called?
Yeah, they're separate.
Our risk pool, right? They would be the ones making the determination.
Or you deal with them mostly, don't you, Becky? Or you want to check with them on that?
That would be a good question to get found out, how they're going to address it.
Just to see what their inputs would be depending on the vote.
So do you want him to come up and look at the facility and give you an opinion?
No.
So we already got the report.
So you just want him to review
You
the
want an
report and
insurance
give you
man
an
to walk
opinion?
into that
No.
place.
We want to know if they will,
Brenda's here.
if they will continue to
Yeah,
provide
unless they-
coverage.
Unless
for
they
that.
want to come up and look at it, I mean, that'd be their decision if they wanted to come up and take a look at it.
You don't want that.
No, but if they read the report and they say, well, yeah, maybe you should go look at it, I mean, that would be up to them, I would think. Most insurance agents at least go take pictures of something before they cover it.
We don't want them to take pictures.
Well, we don't have an option.
True.
If they're the ones that are gonna be responsible for it, they need to know what they're getting into too.
Plus, there's also the ability of you commissioners being personally liable for knowledge of problems with that jail that's been disclosed in that report, and something happens because of that. You can all be personally liable. Just FYI.
I got a bar they can have. We might get rid of it.
That's the problem with that report, is it points out the problems, which now you're aware of. Which then if we don't cure, we're gonna be on the hook, and you can personally be on the hook for failure to act within a reasonable
But
manner.
we are being proactive now, that's why we put it to a
Correct.
vote.
Correct.
To get, to see what our next step is gonna be. So now if we check with the insurance beforehand, and we have an answer to that before November,
Honestly, you're all on the hook right now.
Yeah, oh yeah.
well, I know, but we're still doing things to be proactive.
My position is, if I were the attorney, you guys would all get sued. Right now, if something happens that's been disclosed in that report, you're all gonna be on the hook for being sued. Now, whether that is going to be a victory or not, but I'm just telling you, we've got a ton of liability with that right now. You guys can personally too. Just to, I'm not saying it's gonna happen, I'm not gonna say that, but I'm just informing you of the amount of liability that report has generated for us. And even though we are being proactive on a vote, we're still operating a facility that's potentially got some issues that you're all aware of, based upon that report. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but you guys should all be aware of it, because there is a lot of potential. Not that it's gonna happen, but there's always that possibility.
I mean, to me, what would be nice to know is if there's something there that, you know, that's really extreme, where, you know, it could be resolved without costing a bunch of money,
That's true.
you know.
You know, like fire, if it's a
And still
fire
be able to
issue
operate.
or something like that,
Just-
that's a
If there's
possibility.
just something that's.
'Cause a lot of
costs a
the-
ton of money, because if it,
A lot of the things that were pointed out have been corrected as far as procedurally, things like that. I would have to look at the report as far as structurally and the facility itself. Do you know of any, Josh, that were listed that we can't cure that we could possibly cure or reduce?
I'd have to look at the report again, but there's several facility issues. I'd have to look at that report again. And I can resupply that to you, that section.
you know, because
You got it.
Kevin, you got it with your stuff.
to me, it would make more sense if there's something that can be corrected right now, it isn't gonna be a ton of money, because why would you, it'd be crazy if it's gonna go through to build a new jail, to stick $500,000 in right there, I mean, otherwise then, if
Well, I
that's the
think
case,
that's
then
our-
you're better off closing it right now.
Well, and I think that's the whole idea where we've been at, hold off, because we are trying to get this to this point.
Because we've been at risk since that report came out, and we've made some improvements, and I don't mean to be the bearer of, you know, doom and gloom, but there's always, my job is to tell you the worst case possible scenario. I don't think that's going to happen, but we need to be thinking forward, especially if this bond issue goes down. What are we gonna do next with the facility? Rather than let it drag out another year, and we still have that hanging over our head. That's kind of it.
I guess I would like to know if there's just something small that can be done.
I would
Wouldn't be
definitely
so-
think that if it goes down, we need to implement those changes immediately that are with this facility, if we're gonna continue to operate it.
Have that plan already there.
Correct.
I can have one, but it's depending on the board here.
And then where are we gonna appropriate the money from, out of the building fund, or, if it's gonna, nothing unfortunately costs a little bit of money anymore. Always runs in the hundreds of thousands, so.
How about state's attorney?
Sure, I'll go over there and do some repairs.
Just thought of-
I can do some tuck pointing and stuff like that, but.
What if you didn't close it, but housed the prisoners somewhere else until the vote? Eliminating that risk and giving you a good idea of what it's gonna cost to house them elsewhere, but not officially close the jail, because if you officially close it, then it's hard to reopen. What if you just started housing elsewhere?
Yeah, but what would you do with all the workers and all that?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes. I think we're on the right path. I just want to make sure that we have something in place and that we don't procrastinate once that election is over with, that we're still at this point in a year. But that's why, because I know there hasn't been much talk on what are we going to do if, I mean, we all know what's going to happen if it passes, but there's always that possibility that if it doesn't, what are we going to do?
That's
And
why I got with Josh.
Yep. And
Started.
dealing with the potential legal exposure that we're going to have. And how long are we going to bear that exposure or make changes that we can fund? Because I don't know the answer to that. I'll shut up now.
is there anything more to discuss on that, Becky? Does anybody see anything we need to talk about on the budget?
Is it a possibility, you guys, to have your answer that you're looking for, and, I mean, it would be nice to, because like Jamie said, it's coming up fast. Next meeting, you guys make a decision on what you're doing.
I'd rather see what you have before we make a decision. To include, okay, if we're gonna get rid of feds, what's your manpower is gonna be, stay open, or if it's closed, what your manpower is gonna be to.
I can have that for you next week, or next week if
You
you
don't
want.
have any of that information to make a decision.
I can have it for you next week, or.
I got an idea in my mind, but I'd rather see your report or your idea of what you would have.
I can have it done for you next week, and you guys can still make the decision in September.
One other monkey wrench. You're going to have to also decide on what we're going to do with regard to transporting prisoners. There's an Attorney General's opinion that states that the arresting agency is responsible for transporting the prisoners to whatever facility we have. But again, that's an Attorney General's opinion. 90% of the arrests are made in city limits of Mobridge. And if that is going to be their responsibility, we should probably let them know, because that's going to be a huge change for them. Because now they just bring them to Selby, where it could be they drive them 100 miles if we close.
Would you be able to check with the current Attorney General to find out an answer to that?
Sure, but again, an Attorney General's opinion is just that. It's an opinion.
Can you check
until
with the
it's,
judge?
there's no statutory, it says that the sheriff is responsible for housing in the statutes, but the statutes are vague as far as, and that's why they have that Attorney General's opinion. But again, that Attorney General's opinion is 34 years old. But that is going to be a significant issue with regard if, say we do close this and the city of Mobridge has to transport their prisoners. That's a significant amount of money that they may need to budget for that they're not, or they may need to know about. Wouldn't be much of an increase to us, because we're not going to, if it closes, the jail would be closed. You know, the sheriff would have to arrange for transportation from the holding facility back and forth to court, but not for initial arrest.
And all medical, anything that we would arrest.
And all the initial arrests which come out of the city of Mobridge could be a huge, I would assume probably 2 or 3 more officers on their department.
I mean, is that even something that Mobridge is aware of?
Nope. Don't have a, I mentioned it to Chief Madison, but.
I've had a discussion with Chief Madison. I've talked with the mayor, and I've also went to their city council meeting.
If those people know, then it's a non-issue. I didn't know they know.
So I just did that, Jimmy, so I think we're lots of meetings.
So yeah, if it's a non-issue, then don't worry about it.
But it'd still be nice if we could get an opinion from the Attorney General.
We can ask them. It probably won't come back until after the election, but yeah, we can ask. Maybe they'll be fast.
Well, just out of curiosity, Josh, let's just say if the jail would close, just say that. What was your intentions for the transporting people? How would they be? Would they just be like a correction officer?
No.
Okay, why would that be? What would they be then? A deputy?
It'd be sworn law enforcement.
That's what they'd have to be to transport somebody?
Yep.
Well, when you transport somebody right now, like even, let's say from here down to Yankton, they're not, because I know you used to have Sandy Mitchell do that, didn't she?
She rode along as a matron.
Okay.
If we have to take a female, yes. But no, they're officers. Aaron's on one right now down in Sioux Falls. They have to be able to, in effect, an arrest to prevent an escape. There's a lot of liability there, and COs don't have enough training. There's no way to get them that much training without putting them through the academy and stuff.
Okay, well, you answered my question. Well, does anybody else have any questions on budget? Now we'll go to old business.
Scott, I have to ask.
I didn't see it.
I didn't raise it. But I have to ask, are we gonna do some more cuts? Or is the positions cut just going to be Casey?
Can't answer that today.
Okay. Because we still have a couple of readings left, right? Okay.
We haven't had a reading yet, so.
Yeah, okay.
Old business.
So would you like this, I have to publish this as it is?
I think so. Any old business? New business?
I have new business.
Yes.
We had, we had Larry Danielson take us to the State Office of Hearing Examiners on his equalization. You guys, the city and you guys as an equalization board upheld my value, and thank you for that. Then he appealed it to OHE, and I accompanied Jamie down there on the 3rd of July for the hearing. Thanks to Jamie, we won, we prevailed in the OHE hearing. So his value stands the way the city and you and I said. So we were glad to hear about that.
Okay, thank you.
We're 2-0.
Huh?
2-0.
Okay, this letter we got from Dave Seaman. I resign my county commission position as of August 21st, 2018. I need a motion to accept that.
You can.
No?
No.
Okay.
That'll be on the next agenda to accept.
Okay. Accept.
So would advertising be held up until the actual
Yes.
accepting of the resignation?
Totally up to the commission on what they want to do, if they want to wait off, because our next meeting is what, the 4th? 6th? Okay, so the 6th of...
We're gonna have to get, who's the president of the Republican?
Nope, this is what the plan would be.
This is just the board. It's too
Is
late to withdraw from the ballot. It's, go ahead, sorry Jamie.
No, go ahead, I didn't mean to interrupt, Becky.
So you guys appoint someone to fill out the remainder of the year, and then come the 1st.
When that candidate who was elected does not take office, then you would appoint again, probably the same person. But since we're past the deadline for taking a name off the ballot, correct? That name has to remain on the ballot.
Yes, Dave's name is on the ballot, we cannot remove it. So come January 1, then if he does not appear to take office, then you have to
We
appoint
would,
again.
no, go ahead, Becky, I didn't mean to interrupt. I'm just thinking out loud. We would probably again have to ask him if what his plan is as of January 1st, since he's going to win unopposed, if that's what his plan is also, since he's still on the ballot and will be elected in the November election. So we need to have that answer, because then...
I was just wondering if we had to get the whole Republican Party.
No, they can't do nothing about it at this point.
Because we haven't taken his name off the ballot. His name has
Cannot be removed. So therefore, he won, he's going to win the election. Even though he's not actually on the ballot, he was the only one that filed. So the person that you guys will appoint is only guaranteed through the end of the year. And then come the first, if Dave doesn't accept the position back, then you would reappoint someone and then they'll have to run in the next election cycle.
And we should probably,
In Dave's next election cycle.
next
The
closest election.
next one.
Next closest.
And so we should probably inquire as to his intentions with regard to taking office back on January 1st again also, since he's going to be reelected.
Then are you gonna talk to him?
I can, I mean,
I would
we
think you
should
should
probably.
talk to him.
Okay. Yeah, but we don't want to get anyone who's stuff messed up, so. But yeah, if you want to hold off, like Becky said, it was submitted before, or within the 24 hours before publication, so you just kind of put that on there as new business FYI, since we couldn't put it on the agenda to accept it, since it was not posted on the agenda. Correct, Becky?
Yeah, I received it after I posted.
So, it will be on the next one to accept, but it's an FYI for you right now, so.
Okay.
So do you believe we should hold off on advertising?
What do the commissioners want to do?
So if we advertise
I
for
guess
2 weeks,
technically we
that
have
could
to.
possibly put us
Technically,
way
he's
out.
still a commissioner until we
Accept it?
accept his resignation.
We shouldn't do it till after the next meeting.
Okay.
That's when we should do it. Any other new business? Here now, I take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
A motion on the floor, I need a second.
Yes, sir.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye.